Hi everybody. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is Diane. I am working on a Christmas journal, and it's going to be a domestic arts style of journal. It's made with a craft book, large. It's called Timeless Ornament by Leisure Arts Publications, and let me give you the measurements. It's 11 inches tall and almost 8.5 inches wide, so it's a big one. It's just a little over 11 inches, in fact. I still don't have this adjusted right. Okay, I think that's better. So I really haven't had much time to work on it. I've had a very busy couple of days, but last night I did take some time to start prepping some pages. So because it's so big, I had to piece pages together. So I just cut them down to the height that I needed. So I cut them down to 10 3/4. And then I sewed them together, folded them, and cut them to 8 inches in width. So it's 16 inches open. So then I just took the leftover piece of this and added it to that page. And I want 3 of those pages. Oh, sorry. So here's the third one. So these will be the front pages of the 3 signatures. My table is just a disaster right now. And I've also, I'll show you the other pages I have prepped. I got some of this really nice wrapping paper. I have 1 piece for each signature. Some of these pages from the Saturday Evening Post books about Christmas. This one's a nice big one. So I have some of those pages. I should have 3 of them also. And this is a flyleaf from a book. And it wasn't a Christmas book, it was an alphabet book by this Japanese artist who I forgot his name. But it ended with a or maybe this was for X, I don't remember, Xmas tree. But I took the picture. We'll use that. And some of my computer stationery pages. I've just got them all scattered here. Those, and some of the pages from this cross-stitch ornament book. So we get lots of pretty images of Christmas cross-stitch ornaments. And this was from Knitted Afghans book. I made a domestic arts journal out of that book cover a long time ago, but I saved that image because it was a Christmas Afghan. This is just from a Christmas record book to keep records in, you know, not playing records, but written records. I have 2 of these pages of parchment paper that came from the flyleaf of this book. So I have 2 of them somewhere. Told you my desk was a mess. And 3 leftover pages from Tsunami Rose Christmas List journal kit that I used last year. I think I have the entire kit printed. I say they're leftovers, but it seems like I have the entire kit. And I did use it like twice. I also have these craft pages that came from binders that open up. So they're going to be great big pages. So I have 3 of those. They came from 2 different binders. This one was bound in this way and opened this way. These 2 were bound in this way. It had a little tabbed extended piece on the back, and the holes were here. So then it opened this way. But I had to cut that off to make it the right width, so it's going to open this way. So I do have quite a few pages at least cut and folded and prepped, and I have some music pages too, Christmas songs. And I have some others here if I need them, but I think I pretty much have enough. Just set these aside. Now, I want to make some journal cards. Mrs. Cog, Liz, from Mrs. Cogs Crafts, sent me some wonderful Christmas digitals that she has in her shop. The vintage advertisements, which are great, and the Christmas words. So I'd like to take the Christmas advertisements and try to make some journal cards. Boy, I guess it's too early in the morning for me to try to talk today. I'm going to grab some trims. I forgot to do that. I just want to have an assortment of things on hand because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I have an idea, I'm not positive how everything is going to work. So, I also have gathered green and red tulle and some green and red buttons. And these buttons that were given to me in a Happy Meal. Thank you, Sarah, I believe. So I also brought over some red and green cardstock. So let's just see what we can do here. I'm looking for my paper cutter, paper trimmer. I just used it last night. Here it is. Okay. So I'm just going to select one of these that I like. Let's take this one. Shop this Christmas where you can get what you want promptly. This is Wanamaker's Philadelphia store. And I want to cut a piece of cardstock that will fit this and then have a little bit of extra at the top to embellish. These are going to be simple, which is, as you know, the way I like it, simple embellishments and ephemera. Let's do it at this end. Simple, but hopefully pretty. I'm not at my sewing machine. I just have too much of a mess. You know, I did just clean my room, right? But I've been making some Christmas journals. Oh, I'm sorry. And I've gotten some Happy Mails, and so I don't have that stuff put away. And so I'm kind of working in a mess right now. All right, that was from somebody I haven't heard from in a very long time. I was surprised. So I have this. I'll probably, I don't know if I want to glue that or sew it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to, I think I'll probably add some paper to the back so you don't have to write on red. So yeah, I might sew this. And I want to take a little piece of tulle. Let's see how this works. I'll probably want to double it because when tulle is a single layer, it's hard to see the color. So I'll cut more than I need. And I'll cut it to the right width for the card. And I'll just maybe put it in a triple layer. It's subtle, but it shows. It's actually 4 layers now. You can see it a bit. Probably show it better on a white cardstock. Oh yes, definitely. And then I'm going to take some buttons. and just add some buttons across the top. These aren't vintage buttons. These are a mix of buttons that I bought probably at Walmart a year or two ago because I had a hard time finding red and green buttons. I don't need to keep setting them on there. They just keep falling off. So I'm going to take some embroidery floss. I think I'll do the embroidery floss just in white. And this is going to be tedious, but I can talk to you while I do this. So my sisters came over for lunch yesterday. We had a wonderful lunch. I made a chocolate meringue pie with homemade crust and chocolate royal pudding. Royal chocolate pudding. Royal is the brand that we grew up with, and it is so much better than Jell-O, than the Jell-O pudding. And I couldn't find it in my local stores anymore, and I just thought they didn't make it, but my son-in-law found it online. He ordered me like 2 boxes. More than 2 boxes. It was almost 3 boxes that had multiple boxes inside of royal chocolate pudding. This isn't coming out with the ties on top. So I've enjoyed that. I mean, the first time I made it, and then I like to eat it warm, and I took a bite of it, and I was not disappointed. And I was like, I was right. Royal is better than Jell-O. But anyway, I used the royal pudding to make the filling for my chocolate meringue pie, and then of course the homemade meringue on top. It was so good. We enjoyed more than one piece. And then after we just had a short visit and did some music because we were going to go over to my parents' house. Sorry, I'm off camera. To make some music for my parents and the other tenants in the apartment where they live, the apartment building. It's, as I've said before, it's not a high-rise, it's just a 1-story building, and I think it only has 8 apartments in it. But most of the people that live there come to the common room when I go play the piano, or if my sisters come and I play and they sing. So we did that yesterday, but it was pretty, we hadn't had a chance to even know what we were going to do. So we just quickly picked out some music that we were familiar with, more or less. Oh, I'm making a mess here. And we did some nice music for them. And then I had invited my pastor's wife. Before I knew my sisters were coming, I had invited my pastor's wife to come and do music with me. She plays the violin. And she plays piano very beautifully. She's a much better musician than I am. And she agreed to come. And then her husband wanted to come. He's a singer, beautiful singer. And she ended up being sick this week. But she still wanted to come. So she just didn't bring her violin. But she brought piano music, and she played, and then she accompanied her husband while he sang. So we just had a good hour and a half of music. Because my sisters and I went first, and they didn't come because they have young children. So they were waiting for them to have their nap. So then when they did come, they did their music. And everybody loved it. It seemed kind of chaotic, you know, because it was kind of unplanned. Nothing worked out the way I had envisioned. I had envisioned me playing the piano, Grace playing her violin, and her playing, maybe us doing some piano duets, you know. But it ended up with a whole bunch of us, none of us really knowing what we were doing. None of us had any music selected ahead of time. My sisters and I ended up singing old hymns out of an old hymn book. And, you know, while we were waiting for my pastor and his wife to come. And that might have been the best part of the program as far as the tenants were concerned. They loved it. So we had a good time. And my parents always enjoy it when we come. My mom likes showing us off, which is kind of embarrassing sometimes. But I'm sorry, I zoomed in so you can see, and then I just move out of camera. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm sorry. I should have had these prepped, but I don't have a lot of time to do a video at this point in the day because I've got my grandson here. He's doing his charter school on my dining room table, and he has his lunch break at 11, and it's 1:15 right now. I'll have to go down and make him some lunch. But he has an hour and a half lunch, so it's not like I have to have it all ready for him as soon as 11 o'clock hits. He likes to go down to my basement and use my treadmill on his lunch break, so he does that while I make lunch. Sorry, I know I'm out of frame, but I have to see this buttonhole. Not only does my mouth not work today, but apparently my fingers don't work either. I want to say thank you for those of you who purchased my Christmas journal kits and my first 2 Christmas journals. It means so much to me that you guys don't even know. You really don't know how much it means to me. So I'm looking forward to getting some more journals done for you. One more button. Takes longer because each button has 4 holes. Probably be a lot faster if I had bothered to put the embroidery thread on a needle, but I didn't. I did actually turn in an application for the double wide house that I was looking at, for one of those brand new ones. Nobody has lived in them yet. They want applications, you know, to make sure that you can afford to keep up with the rent. And I've been, you know, I looked at that double wide months ago, but I haven't really acted on it, because I get paralyzed. It just seems like there's just, I don't know, too many decisions, so much to do, getting some work done on the house so I can get it put on the market. And who knows how long it'll take to sell, and I don't want to pay rent and mortgage, you know, I just don't know what to do. But anyway, I did turn in the application Monday. And once it's approved, it's good for 3 months. So that means if I do take one of those within that 3-month period, I'll be moving in the winter or, you know, late fall. She said that there will be another new one available, ready, in a couple of weeks. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. And So we have the tool here, and then we'll have these buttons on it. Probably what I should have done was sew the buttons onto the card with the thread, and that would hold the tool in place. But I didn't do that. And I am going to sew, but I'm not at my sewing machine, so, but you can see what that card will look like, sort of. Now, what will I put on the back? I can take some of this paper. I think I have the December pages still out. Yeah. Yeah, I can put the date up there. So this card is 3.5 by almost 6. Measure that at 3.5 inches wide. No, that's too much. 3.25 by 5. Let's try 5 3/4 and see. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay, good. Take my sweater off. We had frost on the ground today. Lots and lots of frost. But it feels like it's warming up. But I always get warm in this craft room. So I will adhere that after I sew these pieces on. So I will do these off camera. And we can start another one, but I won't fuss with the buttons this time. Let's pick out another one. I like the Kodak one. Whitman's Chocolates. Oh, that's a cute one. I like that. Player Piano. What a nice Christmas gift. Oh, there's so many nice ones in here. So many nice ones. I want to do a littler one, so let's take the Kodak camera one. It's just about the right size. I can put the trim on the side. So I'll sew this on and put some lace there. Or that. Or both. Yeah, and we don't need buttons on this one. I told you these were going to be simple. That spool of lace bit the dust. Guess I'll finish this one off on some other of these cards. I can use these cards for this domestic arts journal, and also maybe for the one that's going to have a patchwork cover. So I have this one to make, the patchwork cover, the one about the story of Christmas with the nativity, and what's the other one I have? Because I have 4 more. I did Frosty. I did Jingle Bells. I don't remember. Oh, no, it's not Rudolph. I don't know. Well, that'll be a surprise when we get to it, won't it? I think I'll put some red thread in my machine for this journal. at that Christmas tree. Doesn't show up enough. Maybe that. I'd have to cut the shank off. That's pretty. The Howard watch. McClure's, the marketplace of the world. That's the magazine or catalog that came out of. So let's do a green one this time. And I leave a little more space at the top. I can always trim it off if it's too much. I was thinking about gathering up some fabric up here. Oh, that's cute. Okay. This one's 3 1/4 by not quite 6. Oh, I got 2 papers there. So I'll cut it at 3. Let's do 5 and 5/8. Perfect. I can take this little piece. It doesn't have a date on it, but it'll fit on there and won't go to waste. Guess I'll have to finish these off camera and show them to you when they're all done. So I'm going to put this on, gather up some of this fabric, and add this fun little button in the shape of a present. It matches, the bright green matches the green in this fabric. There's 3. Let's do one more before I have to go make lunch for the kid. Let's do this one, Waterman's Ideal Fountain Pen with a Santa Claus on it. I made him pancakes for breakfast. Pancakes is pretty much his favorite food. So that's a good way for him to start his school day. Well, this fits, but it doesn't leave any room at the top. So it doesn't fit because it doesn't do what we need. was fun to have my pastor come. They're young. They're a young couple. They're both still in their 20s. Pastor's getting close to 30. Well, I think he just had his birthday. So I think he's 30 now. But I like that. He sang some music that wasn't church music. He sang a Josh Groban song, and he sang a song in Italian. And it was really nice to get to hear him do that. He's got a beautiful voice. And he loves to sing. So I'm sure he enjoyed being able to sing something that he wouldn't necessarily sing in church. I like those together. What do you think? They look good. Well, this is kind of addicting, especially since it's going so quickly because I'm not actually sewing them. So I just want to keep going. It's just 11 o'clock now. You've got 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. Three by 5 1/4. One more. I told you they were addicting. Let's do a little one. Flexible flyer. Did we only use tulle once? We need to use tulle again. That was my whole plan, was to just use tulle and buttons. And then I decided to get my laces out. So this is just a band of tulle. I'm just going to roll it up. Kind of hard to see it on my mat here. Okay, just roll it up. Maybe I'll just tie some thread around it. Or wrap some thread around it maybe. Let's see. That makes it show up a lot better. Okay. I think we'll go with that. And I'm going to go make lunch, and then I will put these things together and I will show them to you when I come back. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.